Oh yeah, not coming up. Hello, welcome. I'm Hannah and happy. Hello, welcome. I'm Hannah and happy New Year! Almost. Yay! I'm so excited for today's video because I'm just gonna do an end of the year empties slash declutter. I set a goal at the start of this year to declutter all of my makeup and my clothing by 25%, and tomorrow, New Year's Day, is the day where I start tallying it up and see how I did. So in the spirit of that, I want to do one final push out of stuff that I don't want to bring with me into 2023. Before we get started, I know what you're thinking, and I will zoom you in to see my eye look. I'm wearing Ball Drop from Copacetic. I thought the name was really fitting for the occasion. This was my favorite shadow in my recent video, eye swatching Copacetic shadows. Doesn't that look spectacular? So we're just gonna dive right in. I have a big bag of stuff in a Juicy bag from when Juicy was at the mall near me like 12 years ago. And this mound of stuff has finally annihilated this bag. Yeah, it's gonna kind of be in no particular order, just because there's a lot of it, and we're just gonna go through it and see what the story is. The first one is an empties. It's the NYX Marshmallow Primer. I made a decision early this year where I threw out the little sample primers that I had been getting hung up on for a really long time because I realized that I wasn't enjoying using them, so therefore I never used primer. So therefore this one was just sitting there as like my backup for a really long time, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get rid of the little dinky samples that I don't like and actually use this. And I thought it was nice. I'm kind of becoming a bit of a primer convert. For a long time I was like, you don't need a primer, it's fine. But now I like a primer. It didn't do any of those things that I don't like when primers do. It wasn't like pilly or anything. It was just kind of like a nice little moisturizing layer, and my makeup like felt nice going onto it. So I replaced this with the Hourglass primer, which is definitely way more mattifying. That's what I have on today. But I would consider purchasing this in the future. This thing, I'm so happy that this is an empties. It's the Fenty Beauty Eavesdrop, and it's been the bane of my existence the entire time that I've had it. I just never liked how it went on my skin. I thought it kind of had like a powdery finish in the worst possible way, and it would wear off very quickly and unevenly, and that's a huge thing for me. I want to be able to put on a foundation and have it last all day, not have to think about it. This just looked bad. I remember every close-up I would do when I would have this on, it would just like cling to my pores, and I'm not someone that's like thinks I have big pores or whatever. Like, I have normal human skin and it's fine, but when I would zoom in on camera with this on my face, it just looked bad. It just made my skin look way more textured than it is, and I actively used this every time that I knew I wasn't going to be filming. I hated every second of it, and I'm so happy to see it go. I have 2 samples of Living Proof dry shampoo that I acquired this year, and my first impression of this dry shampoo was that I really, really, really liked it. I liked it pretty much as much, possibly more, than my Dry Bar dry shampoo, but it started doing a weird thing on both of them. Let's see if it does it or if it has stage fright. I don't know. The point is, it stopped coming out really early, and like I hear stuff in there, but it just doesn't come out. And then it started like I would hold down the nozzle and the nozzle would keep going. It's not doing it today, but the nozzle would keep going after I lifted my finger up, and it kind of freaked me out. Aerosol cans freak me out anyway. I'm like, does this mean it's going to explode? I don't know, but the 2 of them, I guess they're empties, even though like I hear it in this one, it won't come out. I have a Tarte Shape Tape as usual. You can see that the design on the cap wore off. Is it possible this one just didn't have a design on the cap? Because it actually looks so perfectly worn off. Yeah, maybe I take that back, but usually it has the gold on there, so I don't know if it wore off or not, but I always have one of these in my empties. It's my go-to concealer, and I need no other concealers because of it. I feel like the world moved on from Shape Tape at some point, and I didn't forget. Let's touch on a couple candles really quickly. I have this one, it's from Myers, which is like a home cleaning product brand. And this is the second one I've had of this. It's the Acorn Spice scent. And it smells so good. I'm not the biggest fan of like really heavy fall scents, really like cinnamony scents or anything. But it just smells like, it smells like nutmeg perhaps. It just smells fall in like the easiest, most agreeable way. I first got one of these at Target a couple years ago, and then this one I purchased on Amazon maybe like a year ago at this point, and it was like $6 or $7. I used it in the fall. If they keep making it, I feel like I'll keep doing that. I feel like next year I'll probably buy another one in the fall and enjoy it. I was actually like looking forward to when I started using this. I first lit it up on the day that Bachelor in Paradise premiered because it's the best, it's the best trash TV show. And that was perfect. I have my little wine, I have my little candle, I have my little trash TV. The next candle is the Forever Mood Caked Up candle. This one I waited until my birthday to light in October, and it smells good. It smells like cake, but I don't know. This and the only other Forever Mood candle that I've used up before, I just found myself like not in love with them by the end of them. I don't think their throw is the best. I don't think it like makes my whole room smell like the candle. I'm a little like not sold on it. But it does smell like vanilla cake, and I do like vanilla cake. The next one is this 1,000 Wishes Bath & Body Works candle. They're not cruelty-free, so I don't purchase from them, but I went to a wedding over the summer where this was like the little gift that was on the table for everyone, which I do think is a cute idea. I do kind of like that. I looked up what this smells like because I really like the smell of it, and I think it's supposed to be like a champagne scent. I feel like I'm adding this to my scent profile because of this, but I wouldn't repurchase this one because I don't purchase from Bath & Body Works. I do like the size too, and I like the lid. The next two candles are just these little guys from Villespa. During Sephora's maybe Black Friday sale, maybe it was the Black Friday sale, they had like the little promo code that if you spent a certain amount, you could choose 2 of the 3 of the options, and they were scent related. So I chose these. I do like the little tins. I think they're really cute and fun. Neither of these scents are my scents though. This one is in Forbidden Fig and this one is in French Cade Lavender. I mean, I like the lavender one better, I guess. They're really tiny. I barely got any scent throw off of them anyway, and it was just kind of like, all right, let me use these up before the new year so I can empties them before I inventory. I do like the style of the packaging, and I can imagine myself, if I'm in person and I see them, giving the bigger ones a sniff. By the way, I have like half wet hair today. I don't know if it's going to look like super greasy on camera, but I just figured I would let it finish air drying because it was almost there anyway. Just FYI. Let's do some color cosmetics to switch it up because that is always more fun and always what like empties videos are lacking. These color cosmetics are more like declutter things, but whatever. The first one is the nail polish that I'm wearing. So the backstory behind this is that I ordered from Lights Lacquer to get for Christmas, and it was actually kind of frustrating because the shade I was most excited about was Whiskey Neat, which is this like brownish duochrome looking shade, looked really pretty, and that shade was canceled because it was sold out, and then it was just 2 other shades that I was gonna get for Christmas, and then I opened up the one that was supposed to be Birthday Bear, which is like a shimmery light pink, and it was this one instead inside. I like a good blue, so I was like, all right, and I emailed them and they're sending me out the Birthday Bear one, but yeah, this is Bedtime Bear, so I'm like, all right, I have it, I'll use it. First of all, I could not get the lid open. I asked my brother for help because I like tried everything, and I can be like a little bit weak when it comes to like opening things. I feel like I have like weak hand skin, but I was using like the rubber thing that you use for jars sometimes, couldn't open it. He ended up using one of those like clamps that you'll like put on a bolt to like unscrew a bolt from the wall, and that's how he got it opened. That was the first problem. The second problem is that it's a little bit chipped now because it's been like a day and a half since I put them on. I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of sheer. I put on 2 coats and it just looks like a little bit streaky in some places. I already have a blue that I'm obsessed with, Route 66 from Color Club. is like amazing to me, and I don't want to keep around a polish that I didn't pick out anyway, and I would have to do like 3 coats to get it to look good, because I find the more coats you put on, the more likely it's going to be kind of like goopy and tacky. So I'm going to declutter this one, even though the packaging is so cute. Hopefully my birthday bear will be even cuter for me. I have this lipstick. I love the packaging of this. It's the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude in the shade Amorosa. I think Angelica Nyqvist recommended this, and that's why I bought it, because I saw the packaging and I was like, all right, Sephora, I'm coming for you. It's a really weird color that I'm not the biggest fan of. It's very like grayed out. It's more grayed out than it looks in the bullet. I'll give you a little swatch. It's also annoying because it's too big to fit in my lipstick holder, so it ends up kind of sitting outside of it. Then the final straw is that I tried to apply it the other day and it just had like a weird smell and taste to it, so I'm gonna say goodbye to this one. It's sad things didn't work out. I hope I'll find more makeup with pink metallic packaging next year, and maybe in a size that actually fits in my lipstick holder. I also have one lip liner. This is the Kylie liner in the shade Smile. It's just like a very blue-based light pink. I have other pink lip liners, and it's not my like preferred shade for lip liner anyway, so I don't need this one. For lip balm, I used up this one from Laneige. They're not a cruelty-free brand, but I had gotten this as something for Sephora. It actually might have been part of a birthday gift. It might have been that. It's like the lip sleeping mask. It doesn't say what flavor it's in, but I'll tell you, it was pleasant to use. I did enjoy using it. Even if it was cruelty-free, I wouldn't repurchase it because I don't like having to stick my finger in and then stick it on my mouth over and over until it's used up, you know? I'm using the Fenty Plush Puddin' lip balm as my like nighttime lip balm now, and I like that one a lot because like it's its own applicator and I don't have to worry about getting my fingers involved. So yeah. I'm also going to declutter this one from Fourth Ray Beauty. It's the Strawberry Overnight Lip Mask. I think it's their attempt at duping the Laneige one, but it's just like, no, I just don't like it. It feels like Claire's makeup. It's a lot more like sticky than the Laneige one. The Laneige one is kind of like, I don't know, like smoother. It's just nicer. This one just feels like really artificial and icky, and I don't like it. Let's talk about brushes, because I did a big old brush declutter. Well, I did it a couple months ago, and I posted it towards the beginning of December, and I have more brushes to declutter. As I said, I did that a couple months ago, so I've been living with the outcome of that for a long time, and I've realized I can declutter further. I feel like I was talking myself into keeping 2 complete sets because there were some parts of my face that I wanted to have more than 1 brush for, and I realized that like that's okay. If I like 2 highlight brushes, I can have 2 highlight brushes, but I don't need to therefore have 2 foundation brushes and everything like that. I'm not too concerned about like having a full set of brushes for the day that I might have wet brushes. Most of the time I can time it out so that I put on my makeup, I wash my makeup brushes, and I know I'm not putting on makeup again for a day and a half. Or if I do need to put on makeup, I can either A, use a wet brush, not the end of the world, or like make do with my hands or something, you know? So I have a whole handful of brushes that I'm ready to declutter. Probably the hardest one is this Sigma Tapered Kabuki F86. This was like an era on YouTube. Patrick Starr, I think, said this was like a beauty blender in brush form. But the thing is, I have a Morphe version of this that was also popular at that time that has shorter bristles, and I always found that one to be much easier to use. I would use that for my concealer. I would use like a flat kabuki for my foundation and then the tapered kabuki for my concealer. But most of the time now anyway, I just use the flat kabuki for everything. I put on my base products all at the same time and I just rub them in with one brush. So I decided to keep the Morphe tapered kabuki that I don't use that often, that I like better, and get rid of the brush that I use even less often and I don't like as much. It just makes sense. In the spirit of keeping one foundation brush, I have my Sigma flat kabuki that I really like, and I'm getting rid of this Wet n Wild one. I don't purchase from Wet n Wild anymore because they are no longer cruelty-free. And I think this is like a fine brush head, but definitely the quality of the brush is pretty low. You can see that whatever like plastic tape is covering this metal ferrule is coming up, and it just looks really cheap, and I don't need it. A couple of random brushes. I have this Nabla N306. It's just like a big fluffy blending brush, and I have Sigma brushes that do this. I have this Morphe E18. It's just kind of like a short, but it has some structure to it. It's not really a fluffy brush. And I find that whenever I use this, mostly for my lower lash line is what like I try to use it for, it just gives me too intense and large of an application. I don't need it. This other Wet n Wild one, it doesn't have a name on it, but it's another like big blending brush that my Sigma brushes cover. And I have this Nabla N205 that's kind of a more tapered, smaller blending brush, but again, I don't use it. This brush is, it says Posh. I know I got this when I was away at school at Walgreens about 10 years ago. I used it for a long time for like concealer cover-ups when I had like an oopsie and I needed to like add a little bit in, because I feel like these crappy wiry bristles would give me like a really targeted application, but they are just too wiry and crappy, and every time I try to use this, bristles fall out, and then I'm replacing a mascara oopsie with blue bristles on my face. Now I'm just using, I have like a flat Sigma brush, like a big flat Sigma brush, and that's what I use for touch-ups now. And then finally I have this little Tarte one. I don't even remember the circumstances that I got this, but it is good for like a cream contour type of thing. I don't know when the last time I cream contoured is. I want to say I don't know if I've ever cream contoured because I don't know if I ever owned a cream contour product. But I mean, this is dirty. Maybe I'll just use it with bronzer. I have positive memories of using this, but I never use it. It's so small and dinky, it would be forgotten in my collection. If I ever have a need for something like this, I would go out and choose one that's good for me. Let's talk about some eye products. The first one is this KVD Dazzle Stick. I had posted on my Instagram story a couple months ago a time when I was trying to use it, and it just looked so lackluster compared to a Luxie shade that I was comparing it to. The funny thing is it always looks good in the swatch. It always looks good when I put it on my hand, but then when I put it on my eye, it just doesn't have the same impact that my indie single shadows do. And you know, I've gotten on with shadows, like I have some Urban Decay Moondust shadows that they don't do the same thing as an indie single shadow, but they're a pretty effect in their own way. This one, I just don't feel like it gives me anything. It just gives me like a soft grayish look with not that much shimmer, and it just looks very like bleh. I don't love it. I don't see the fantasy, and I'm gonna declutter it. I also have two Jelly Mutt shadows from ColourPop. I have the shade Desert Days, which is this really pretty pink one that I know I talked about in my individual single shadow video, and I was gonna give it another chance, I guess, considering I still have it, but every time I've tried to use it, it's just like, it just doesn't do it. I tried at some point, even though it'll pick up a little bit on my finger, it just doesn't apply nicely onto my eyes. And my single shadows, as always, they do it better. The shade Barrel makes me a little bit sad because this one I just think is so nice, and I never used it that much, but like I could have guessed before I even purchased it that I wouldn't get that much use out of it because I never get that much use out of individual single shadows. And buying something with such a short lifespan just doesn't make that much sense. That didn't even come up at all. That's crazy. There's it on my finger. It kind of reminds me of like Bronze Fountain from Cleona. Maybe a little bit more cool toned. It barely comes off of my hand. So even though I like the idea of it, I like how it looks in the pan, I like the promo images and everything, it isn't what I wanted it to be. I have 4 mascaras to discuss. This first one I never use that much. It's the ColourPop Act Natural Defining Mascara. I had gotten this sometime during this year. It was like a free promotion. You spend this much, you get a free mascara. I used this like a couple times and I'm just like, It's so nothing for me. I can get down with the idea of a mascara that like just gives you color or something, or gives you lengthening or separating. All this did, and this is in the brown shade, so this did like literally nothing. It coated them with a color that's essentially the color of my lashes, didn't really do any lengthening. I guess maybe it's separated, but I mean, I don't care. I have this blue one from ColourPop that I actually do like. It's in the shade Blue Ya Mind. I think it has a nice big brush. I have experienced some smudging with the ColourPop mascaras, so they're not like top of my list, but I did keep this around and I did use it a bit, especially over the summer. I had like a little nice run there. I've just had it open for way too long and I gotta phase it out. These are the two mascaras that I have been using recently. I have this Pat McGrath Fetish Eyes mascara. They're not a cruelty-free brand, so I don't purchase from them, but I had gotten this as some sort of sample at some point, and I hate this mascara. I hate it. First of all, it smells like essential oils. Yeah, it smells really strong. I don't know why I even sniffed it that close. That was a bad idea, but I'll put it on my eyes and I smell it. I don't like it. It doesn't have any great effect on my lashes. I don't like it. I barely ever used it. The one that I do like, and I'm sad to see go, but it's time. It's been open for long enough, and I could tell when I was putting on today that it's dried out a bit just because, like, there's not that much product left in it. It's the Bite Beauty Upswing Mascara. I wish I knew when they were still around that this mascara was so good. I feel like people will recommend mascaras. Like, I remember Samantha Ravindall talking about this, but doesn't she wear false lashes? So when people that wear false lashes are talking about mascaras, I'm kind of like, yeah, we have very different needs for mascaras, you know? But this one's just so nice. It has like this big chunky brush that I like, and it gives my eyelashes like a nice amount of volume. And that's really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the most impact that I can get without having false lashes on. So I'm sad to see it go. If it was still at Sephora, I would buy another one. I would. It's very, very rare that I say that about mascara. A couple of eyeliners. I'm gonna declutter this NYX Faux Whites Mint Cream eyeliner. I've had this for a really long time and I never reach for it. I like the idea of the faux whites, but it's just so close to white that it looks too bright on my lower lash line. It looks too unnatural in a way that I just don't like. And my blue one from House Labs, Priscilla, that I talked about in my favorites of the year video, I kind of think of that as like the replacement for this. It just has more color. It has like a cooler effect to it. I don't really like this one. And these two I've essentially replaced. This is Wild Side from Urban Decay. I really like it. It's like a shimmery rose gold liner. But the big problem with this is like it just got to the point where like it's coming apart. I use it on my eye, this thing falls out. I sharpened it down to like thinking maybe that would help, and then like it falls out more. It's just like past its life. I had this one for like 3 years, I think. It was pre-pandemic that I got this, so I'm fine with the fact that I just replaced it with its same thing. And then I have another one from NYX. It's the Faux Blacks in the shade Oxblood, and it's a burgundy liner, and it did serve me well. But this I replaced with the Charlotte Tilbury Walk of Fame, which I'll admit is a very similar liner. But that one gives me the feels. That one, I just love everything about it. I think it is like a little bit more red. I'll compare them. I'll compare them for the record book. I did compare them when I first got them, and I still decided I wanted to keep the Charlotte Tilbury because I just love it. But this might be one of those moments where you're like, Hannah, you're nuts. Oh no, the Charlotte Tilbury is more brown. Okay, I feel better now. I like the redness, but I do have a true red eyeliner that I use when I want a true red, and I just find this one really nice, really sexy for everyday wear. I've just been loving it. It just feels like a special little gem, and I'm ready to phase this one out. Let's see if we could wrap this up in the 5 minutes I have left on my battery. Hair products. It's a 10 Potion 10 Miracle Instant Repair Leave-In. I remember having the normal one of this that has like the pink around it years ago, and I loved that one at the time. And then I was looking into see if any of their current products are vegan, and this is the one that was vegan, but I just never loved this one. I thought it made my hair feel like a little bit more sticky. Skin products. I used up my eye cream that I also talked about in my favorite products of this year. I replaced it, which is the one I was holding up in that video, but this is just the used up guy. Really like it. The Ole Henriksen Wrinkle Blur Bakuchiol Eye Gel Creme. I used up these two products from Drunk Elephant. Actually, I bought them when I was in California because I went there in November to visit my best friend, and I realized I didn't have any like face products with me, and I can no longer go to sleep with like a dry ass face. It just really bothers me. So we went to Sephora and there was a little pack of these two, and I bought them for like 22 bucks and they were fine. It's the TLC Framboos Glycolic Night Serum and the Lala Retro Whipped Cream. I really have no complaints, but I didn't use them enough to be like, they changed my life. They weren't particularly amazing going on, but they were fine. I would consider using either of them again in the future if I felt inspired. I have the Herbivore Moon Fruit. This is a little one. I was so excited to use this because I think it was Khaki that's been raving about this, and no complaints. Nothing extraordinary, exciting about it. No complaints. If I was looking for a serum and what I was reading pointed to this being like the best one for me on paper, I would buy it again. Or buy it for the first time. And then I have this Luna Sleeping Night Oil. My boyfriend's mom for my birthday last year had gotten me a whole set of Sunday Riley things, and this is the second to last one left. I still have my good jeans from that. I use this every couple days. I like how it goes on, but I'm always concerned about the fact that I'm putting blue oil on my face, that it's just gonna like get on stuff. But I have had several samples of this over the years and no complaints. This one's kind of a skincare because sunscreen is skincare. The best way to prevent anti-aging is to prevent it. Yeah, you know what I mean. This is the Supergoop Glow Screen. I like this. I use it kind of interchangeably with my regular Supergoop Unseen sunscreen. I just was on a mission to use this up because I know that it's several years old, and I did. I would consider purchasing it again in the future, but I don't know if I'd want to have this be my only sunscreen. I feel like I would want, if anything, to have the options of both. But I don't know if I need to have the options of both, but I did like it. I just realized I wasn't going to finish in the 2 minutes that I had left on my memory card, but then I realized that I had other things on this memory card to delete, so we can talk at a normal speed again, which is still kind of fast, I've been told. The last 5 products I have are fragrance products. One of them is the Sunkissed Coconut Rollerball Fragrance Oil from Soul Body ColourPop. I've had it for a couple years. It's very unexciting. I've mentioned before, I think in my fragrance video, that I've just been putting these on my wrist before I go to bed. It's the kind of thing that I'm doing because I have it. If I didn't have it, I would probably just do like a spritz of my normal perfume on my wrists. But I was on a mission to finish this up, and I was doing like a big service area of oil every night for the past couple weeks. And I did use it up, and that feels pretty good. That feels pretty good. I have this one from Clean Reserve in the scent Lush Fleur. When I said before that those candles were part of that Sephora promotion where I could pick 3 things and they were 2 of them, this was the 3rd one. It smells, I want to say grassy, but I don't think this is supposed to be a green fragrance. I just don't like it. Yeah, it smells like I don't need to waste my time having that on my body because I have so many other fabulous fragrances. And in 2023, I want to prioritize using what I love instead of just trying to use up what I don't love so that I could eventually get to what I love. So for these little mini guys, I have a Vanilla Woods. I still see a little juice in there, but I remember it not coming up anymore. Either way, I have the rollerball of this, which I'm just considering to be my full size because I'm not going to buy the actual full size. And I have another little sample size. So I think I was just willing to say adieu with it having like a little bit of juice left in there. Oh yeah, not coming up. And then I have these 2 little ones from Le Labo. I talked about these in the fragrance video that I had bought these samples for $6 each. I decluttered one of them in that video, and these are the 2 that I kept to use as room sprays, Santal 33 and Tonka 25. I've revised my position to I kind of like the Tonka 25. It won't come out anymore. I don't like it in the way of like using it on my body, but when I become a really fancy, rich old woman, I would consider buying a full size of this to spritz around my room. Yeah. The Santal 33, pretty similar to this. It's just like the Tonka spoke to me a wee bit more. And that's everything. Yeah. I hope this was fun to watch. I know empties videos aren't always the most exciting, but I hope I can give you some insight from products that I've used up or products that I've decided to halt my relationship with. I just want to quickly say thank you so much for watching my channel throughout this year. I really appreciate it. It's definitely improved my year a lot to just be able to connect with people on a shared interest. There's something really, really special in that, and I'm thrilled. I hope you are going to have a safe and wonderful, fun, exciting, if that's what you want, New Year's, if you haven't already. It's my dad's birthday today, so that's always kind of my excuse to stay in. Not that I need an excuse, but you know, I tell myself that. And I'm going to get Indian food with my parents and my boyfriend, and it's gonna be really nice. So yeah, that's everything for today, and I'll see you next year. Bye.